All right, then. So while we monitor these areas and other areas, we'll be having conversations with our friends from Rjolad, as promised, and we shall be looking at, cancer prevention. It's still the Cancer Awareness Month, and yes, today we're focusing our spotlight on cancer prevention, living smart, preventing cancer, the Rjolad Guide. I'm joined by Dr. Phillip Bamigboye from Rjolad Hospital. Good morning, and good to have you on the show this morning, Dr. Phillip.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you. It's nice being here.
Yeah, so we understand that cancer is not just one disease, although it bears just one name, cancer, which everyone is familiar with. We understand that it's a group of diseases where abnormal cells grow uncontrollably, and many types are preventable through early detection and even healthy habits. According to the World Health Organization, based on statistics, about 30 to 50% of cancers can be prevented by changing key risk factors. So, Doctor, I would like us to begin with the basics now. What exactly is cancer for someone who's hearing this for the first time, and why is it considered not just one disease but a group of diseases?
Okay, so thank you very much. Just as a way of summary, in the cells, in the body, there are cells that multiply.
Okay.
And these cells are actually controlled. The growth and multiplication of these cells in the body are regulated. So there are certain regulatory mechanisms put in place by the body to control the way by which these cells grow. But in certain instances, these cells escape these regulatory mechanisms and they begin to multiply uncontrollably. At that point, we can say cancer has developed. So cancer is a result of uncontrollably multiplication of cells within the body.
So it has to do with cells within the body, not an external, virus or a bacteria, or is that what you're trying to explain?
So yes, some viruses, or bacterial infection can make these cells to be at risk of multiplication. Okay. So when these viruses infect the body, they can actually help these cells to escape these control mechanisms that have been put in place.
Okay.
So those are actually risk factors.
Oh.
So viruses, infections could actually predispose one to developing cancer.
Okay, so when we talk about cancer prevention now, let's narrow things down to prevention. What does that really mean? But the question here is, can cancer truly be prevented, Doctor?
Okay, thank you for that question. Cancer cannot 100% be prevented, but we can actually reduce the risk.
Okay.
So that is what we're actually preaching. How can we reduce the risk of developing cancer? There are some instances that are not within our control.
Okay,
that can actually predispose us to cancer.
So what are these instances for someone out there who might be wondering?
Okay, so under risk factors for cancer, we have modifiable risk factors and non-modifiable risk factors. So those non-modifiable risk factors are those that we do not have control over. For example, your age.
Okay.
As one ages, the risk of cancer actually increases. For example, after the age of 50 years, people are actually prone to having certain cancers, especially cancer of the intestine, compared to when you are younger. Okay, that's one. Then your gender, male or female gender. If you're a male, there are certain cancers that are associated with the male gender, especially prostate cancer. Females don't develop.
So it's actually gender related.
Yes, gender as well. Okay, breast cancer is common in females compared to males. So those are non-modifiable. You can't change your gender.
Okay.
Then also your family history. The family you come from could also predispose you to developing cancer. So if you have a family member who has a form of cancer, then other family members are also at risk of developing cancer.
So is it likely? Is the risk very high?
Yes, definitely it's very high compared to somebody who doesn't have a family history of cancer.
Okay, so Dr. Bamigboye, the World Health Organization says about 30 to 50% of cancers are preventable. Now, why is this statistic significant, especially for Nigerians here?
Yeah, so it is because 1% is actually a major statistics. If you look at the population of Nigeria, about 200 million plus, you have a percent of that population suffering from cancer, then it's actually significant. So, as much as possible, we're trying to preach prevention so that we can actually reduce this prevalence as much as possible.
Okay, so from your personal experience now, what are the most common types of cancer you see locally? And as here in Nigeria now, let's narrow things down to Nigeria. And which of them are linked to, lifestyle or even environmental factors? Aside now, looking at it, aside from, genetics or, family related.
Okay, so basically in our environment, the 4 common cancers are: 1, breast cancer.
Okay.
2, we have the prostate cancer. 3, cervical cancer. Then 4, colorectal cancer. Those are the 4 common cancers in the environment. There are other forms of cancers as well, like cancer of the liver, skin cancer. But the 4 common ones are the ones I mentioned earlier.
Among these 4, which is the most prevalent of all?
Based on statistics, breast cancer is actually one of the highest cancers we have in the environment. Then cervical cancer.
How about prostate? We tend to talk more about it these days. Is it something like just springing up, or has it been, around for some time?
Yes, prostate cancer actually has been around for some time, but because of increased awareness about screening, and people are getting more involved in their health, okay, so they're able to pick some of this disease early, and that has actually made us have this increased incidence of cancer in our environment because the awareness is now there, and people are actually more deliberate concerning their health.
So we understand breast cancer is the most common of all. But someone just hearing about cervical cancer is asking a question. What's this about, cervical cancer? Can you tell us? Can you shed some light on this type of cancer?
Okay, so cervical cancer is basically the cancer of the cervix. Cervix is a part of the female reproductive system, okay, that just lies below the womb. Okay, basically what it does is to help keep the baby intact when the woman is pregnant.
Okay.
From coming down, you understand? So certain risk factors actually predispose women to having this kind of cancer. Okay, and because people are not aware that there's a structure that lying down there, okay,
as within the cervix,
exactly within the cervix, just inside the vagina. Okay, people may not be aware of this structure, and early identification of cervical cancer is actually not common because people are not aware of this structure.
So what are the habits that are linked with cervical cancer? What habits could pose the risk of one having or coming down with cervical cancer?
Okay, so most importantly, it's infection.
Okay, infection.
Yeah. HPV infection.
HPV.
That's human papillomavirus.
Okay.
It's actually a viral infection that has been implicated in cervical cancer. Okay. Multiple sexual partners.
Okay.
Okay, it's also risk factor. Use of obesity, those on the big side, use of certain chemicals, certain medications could also predispose women to cervical cancer.
All right.
But most importantly is the human papillomavirus infection.
That's HPV infection. Yeah. Lagos, Nigeria. Your side mirror is the show, and today we're talking cancer prevention. My guest, Dr. Phillip Bamigboye from Rjolad Hospital, is shedding some light on cancer, and we shall be looking at some risk factors in a bit. But just to remind you about the situation out there, I've got news just popping in covering the Agege Penn Cinema corridor. Traffic build up here and there, but no cause for alarm. Traffic managers are very much on ground, making sure things are done appropriately there. And for the stretch of the Third Mainland Bridge, well, just to let you in on this one, right from Ilaje, it gets really busy all through Yinlag Waterfront down to Adeniji, Onikon, Flag House, linking out to Marina. High influx flowing in that direction. And let's not forget Osborne, the stretch of Osborne all the way down to the foreshore intersection is busy as well. All right, it's just massive influx. And another big one here, activities at Cathedral Church, Marina. having impact on traffic from all directions, from the CMS Bridge descending towards Odolami, as well as from UBA connecting Cathedral Church, busy moving traffic. And I understand now that this has also affected vehicular movement on Eco Bridge. And it's a busy one on Alta Marina, the full stretch. All right, then you can join the conversation. If you've got questions for Dr. Bamigboye, is right here in the studio. Feel free to hit the number 0915 387 7127 and 0809 9120777. You can also send in your questions via WhatsApp if you're not the one on the wheels. 0809 9120777. We are live on Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio at 96.1 FM. Feel free to drop your comments there as well. All right, then. So cancer prevention, that's our focus on this first segment of the show. So let's look at some risk factors and, lifestyle habits now. Let's talk about some leading causes. Tobacco use, we understand, tops the list worldwide. Is that right, Doctor?
Yes.
Yes. And so how exactly does smoking or even secondhand smoke contribute to cancer?
So, smoking, basically, for people who smoke, they're actually exposed to certain contents within the smoke. Okay, within cigarette, and some of those contents are actually carcinogenic. Nicotine, for example. Okay, that can actually cause some insult on the cells within the body and predispose one to cancer.
So for those who don't smoke, but they live in an environment where people smoke and you're exposed to this the smoke, how does that affect the system and lead to cancer, or how does that pose a risk?
So it's still the same process with someone who smoke. And from statistics, even found out that second-hand smokers are actually more prone. Yeah, to those who actually do the smoking.
Do you have a reason why it's so?
So basically, the release of certain smoke. Okay, that's where the carcinogenic materials are actually released. So by the time you inhale the exhaust, okay, then you actually get those stuff directly into your system, and they can actually initiate the process of cancer formation. Okay,
so let's look at it from the angle of dieting now. How does our diet, particularly the consumption of red meats, processed food, or low intake of vegetables, increase cancer risk? I'd like you to shed some light on this for my listeners.
Okay, so for certain cancers has been associated with weight.
Obesity?
With obesity. So especially colorectal cancer. Okay, that's a cancer of the intestine. And we found out that large contents, consuming large amounts of some of these foods could actually cause some insults to the cells within the intestine. And when there's an insult within the cells, they begin to multiply abnormally, and that can actually stimulate, begin the process of cancer formation.
0915-387-7127. We have some reactions on WhatsApp. You two can send in yours, 0809-9120777. My guest is Dr. Bamigboye from Rjolad Hospital. We're looking at cancer prevention. All right. And, someone is asking a question. Now, taking it from angle of alcohol consumption, we understand this is often underestimated because almost everyone takes alcohol, no matter how little. Yes, we consume alcohol. We also have alcohol in some of our beverages and, even medicines. But how much alcohol is too much when it comes to cancer risk?
Okay, thank you. To be candid, there's no amount of alcohol that's actually safe. Yes, there's no amount of alcohol that is safe. But people are of this
the opinion that some doctors would recommend a certain level of alcohol, and they say it's good for the body. Tell us.
Truthfully, I would reiterate this. Okay. There's no amount of alcohol is safe, but certain situations where you may need to find yourself, you may need to take alcohol. We advise you limit your alcohol to at least less than 1 drink per day if you're a female.
Okay.
Less than 1 drink is about 330 mils of beer or 150 mils of wine, okay, per day, and ensure that you have some alcohol-free days as well.
Okay.
So with that, you're in a side of caution, but the risk is still there.
So when you say alcohol-free days, how many days are you looking at? Just 1 day in a week?
as frequent as possible. If you can have alcohol-free days throughout the week, that's fine for us. But as much as possible, limit your alcohol to less than a drink per day.
So some people would say, "Oh, I've been drinking alcohol since I was in my secondary school, since my secondary school days. Now I've come of age and I'm still drinking. I'm not down with cancer." What would you say about this? Is this a myth or a fact, or how would you describe this situation now?
Yeah, it's actually a fact, but you need to understand that some of these factors, risk factors for alcohol, are interrelated.
Okay.
So
Tell us.
if you take alcohol, you may also have other risk factors which may actually work together with the alcohol to increase the risk. For example, for someone who takes alcohol and also have a family history, you have actually increased the risk of developing alcohol. It's not cast or stone that once you take alcohol you develop cancer, but you actually at risk of developing cancer. That's what we're talking about. So it's not a direct cause, but it's actually a risk factor for cancer formation.
Okay, so during our conversation, you've mentioned obesity several times. So let's take it from this angle now. Obesity and inactivity. We understand these are some major global health concerns. So I'd like you to tell us, how closely are they linked to cancers like, breast, colon, or even kidney cancer? Dr. Bamigboye.
Okay, so fine, thank you. Obesity increases your body mass index and also affects your body fat. Okay, and when this is affected, certain chemicals actually released from the body from those fats, okay, which you can actually, in one way or the other, based on science, which I cannot maybe actually explain here, predisposes one to cancer. So optimal weight is actually what we encourage. Find out that some people, based on their weight, okay, they develop certain forms of diseases in their system, and that can actually be a major factor we need to look at. So having an optimal weight reduces the risk of a lot of diseases in the body.
Okay, so before this, while I was doing my research, before I started this program, I was having an interaction with a colleague.
Okay.
And, he was trying to find out what's the percentage like, give, for example, women who are really busty and women who are not that busty. Now, which of this category of women are more likely at risk of coming down with breast cancer? So is it about the size of the bust, or what's it basically?
So it's about your body mass index, okay, which defines whether someone is obese or not. So as the body mass index increases, the chance of developing chance of developing cancer also increases. So body mass index is just an objective way of assessing whether if an individual is obese or not. Okay, and the higher it is, the chance of developing complications from it.
Okay, so still looking at obesity now, related to colon cancer now, what's the relationship?
So it also has a direct relationship with cancer. Our diet, okay, is a major factor. Whatever we eat, okay, has a direct effect on our system. And if we don't burn the excesses, rather from exercise or whatever means, then we increase the chance of developing cancers from this situation, basically obesity.
So in a nutshell, what you're saying now, Dr. Bamigboye, is that regular exercise could reduce the risk of,
Absolutely.
cancer?
Absolutely.
What if the person has a family history? Does that still work?
So yes, because we're already at risk of developing cancer. So why not reduce other factors that you can actually modify? Okay, so that reduces the severity or intensity at which the individual can actually go ahead to develop cancer.
Okay, let's digress a bit now. Let's look at the role of environmental exposure now in this regard. Environmental exposure such as air pollution or even radiation, what role does this play in increasing cancer risk, especially in areas like Lagos where we have, fumes everywhere, industries, cars, exhaust fumes from the exhaust and all that, which we inhale almost on a daily basis. So tell us, Dr. Bamigboye.
Yeah, so there's what we call occupational hazards. There are certain jobs that can actually predispose one to developing cancer, especially cancer of the lungs, when you keep on inhaling asbestos and certain smokes, okay. Likewise, smoking, okay, cigarettes, okay, nicotines that affect directly the lungs, okay, that predisposes one to cancer. Also, certain light intensity, radiation, or can also predispose to cancer of the skin. So as much as possible, reducing exposure to some of these things is also a step towards protecting oneself from cancer.
0915-387-7127 and of course 0809-9120-777. I've got some reactions here, and Fola Shadi from Ayobo is asking the question: does the use of bleaching cream or creams with chemical substances lead to or expose one to cancer?
Yes, absolutely.
Is it possible?
Absolutely. Cancer of the skin has been a lot of cancers has been associated. Actually, cancer of the skin has been associated with using of certain chemicals in creams that we use. Okay, so that's why you won't just go to the market and procure any form of cream. Certain creams have been indicated, and these are some of the things we're actually preaching to reduce exposure to some of this.
So how common is skin cancer in Nigeria, Dr. Bamigboye?
Yeah, it's quite common, but the awareness is quite low. Okay, people are not aware. Most skin cancers may happen as they present as wound ulcers. So people just go about dressing. I have a wound, keep on dressing, but
and never heals.
Yeah, exactly, never heals, and until probably they present at the hospital. I will run a test, take biopsies, and find out, wow, this is not just an ordinary ulcer. It's actually a cancer. So it's quite common, but awareness is quite low about skin cancer.
So are you saying it's not the type of cancer that takes over the whole skin and you begin to see lumps and bumps? It could come in form of just an ulcer, a wound,
exactly.
And that's it.
Most times it presents as an ulcer, as a wound. And we keep dressing and it doesn't heal.
Wow. Okay, so let's delve into some practical prevention strategies, Dr. Bamigboye. For someone listening right now, what practical lifestyle changes can they start making today to reduce their cancer risks?
Okay, so thank you for that question. I want to divide this into three. Okay, and I'll label it 3S so that we can understand how to go about it. So the first step is screening. Screening. So in screening, what do we do? An apparently well person is subjected to certain series of tests. The essence is to be able to identify if there's a cancer or not. Okay, and if there is none, we tell you what to do to prevent it. And if it's there, we start the process of managing. Okay, so that's the first step. So screening is very, very important.
So when you say screening, is it general screening, or are you screening for a certain type of cancer risk?
Yeah, so when we do screening, we also look at your risk profile.
Okay,
we also look at your age. There are certain screenings that are recommended per age. For example, for women, if you're 40 years and above, for a woman, we recommend you to go for a mammogram.
Okay,
that's screening for breast cancer.
For breast cancer,
or you can do a self-breast examination, you do a clinical examination. That's a screening test to identify if there's any abnormality within the breast as early as possible. So that is screening. So screening is just to identify if there's a problem and begin to hit it head on. Okay. Then the next way to prevent, to reduce the risk is also what we call shots. SHOTS.
Shots.
Shots. Shots has to do with vaccination.
Okay.
Because we know there are certain cancers that have been associated with certain viral infections. For instance, the cervical cancer I talked about. So HPV has been implicated in cervical cancer. So vaccination against HPV reduces the risk of developing cervical. Not only about cervical cancer, other forms of cancers as well, like throat cancer, cancer of the skin, and all those that's been associated with HPV. Also, hepatitis B immunization, vaccination is also helpful. Reduce the risk of developing cancer of the liver. Okay, so that's where shots come in. Then the steps has to do with our daily habits. What I think daily steps we take every day to reduce the risk, and that has to do with stop smoking. You cut down on alcohol as much as possible. you eat balanced diet.
Okay, that leads me to the next question. Now, in terms of food, are there any local Nigerian diets that support cancer prevention?
Yeah, so most to be candid, most of our traditional African diets are okay. They're actually good enough to reduce risk of cancer.
What about herbs?
So herbs, vegetables? Do you mean vegetables or
No,
herbs?
I'm talking about tribal medicine here now.
So I wouldn't want to delve into that, but there are a lot of controversies about use of herbs.
Yes,
okay, about concoctions predisposing to certain cancer, especially cancer of the kidney or the liver. Okay, those are major other risk factors that we can actually discuss. Okay, but our daily habits, every steps we take every day also predisposes or reduces our chance of developing cancer.
All right, Lagos, Nigeria. Dr. Bamigboye is my guest. It's from Rjolad Hospital, and we're talking cancer prevention. Our time is fast spent, I must confess, because we should be diving into the next segment in a bit. But Dr. Bamigboye, what are some of the warning signs that people should never ignore? Those subtle symptoms that might indicate something serious.
Okay, so that's fine. Most of these symptoms may be related directly to the cancer. For example, a breast lump in a woman should not be ignored. Okay, it may be a sign that there's something going on. So you have a breast lump of a woman, please go ahead and check yourself. Abnormal vaginal discharge, foul-smelling vaginal discharge, then the woman, then you need to look at that.
Okay.
If you have blood in your stool, unintentional weight loss, losing weight without
all these should not be ignored.
Yeah, it should not be ignored. Loss of appetite, fatigability, get tired easily, then you shouldn't ignore some of the signs and symptoms.
But most people still associate cancer with spiritual causes or myth. How can we change this perception? Is this really true? Are there some spiritual aspects of it as well?
Yes, I know. There's spirituality in medicine,
right?
But whatever is spiritual also has a physical manifestation.
Absolutely.
And some of these things can actually be managed. So you find out that what people are calling spiritual, by the time they go to orthodox medicine, get them investigated and treated, they'll be fine without praying about it. You understand? So basically, that's it.
Okay, so let's narrow things down to Rjolad now. What's Rjolad doing in terms of helping Lagosians access preventive care and screenings for cancer?
Okay, so one of the things we're actually doing is why we are here on air, advocate, promotion, and educate people about what cancer is all about and how we can prevent. And also at our end, we also have screening facilities available that people can actually buy in to actually check themselves. We have mammogram, you can screen yourself. Mammogram, you can do a pap smear, you can do your colonoscopy, you can check your stool, you can check your blood. There are various tests that are available that you can actually buy in to reduce, to check yourself and be sure that you are cancer free.
So, Dr. Bamigboye, where is Rjolad located in Lagos?
So, Rjolad is actually a multi-facility hospital.
Okay.
We are located all around Lagos. We are located in Bagada, Isolo, Agege, Ikeja, and Bariga. So we are actually located in various parts of Lagos.
All across Lagos State.
Yeah.
So in just 30 seconds, if you could give our listeners one clear message to take away this morning, what would it be?
A message would be, please get yourself checked up. Go for screening. Screening is not a death sentence. It helps us to identify the disease early. It makes treatment cheaper and also improves the quality of life if at all we find you to have a form of cancer or the other.
Well, it was nice having this conversation with you, quite enlightening and educating Dr. Bamigboye. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you.
So Lagos,
being here.
yes, it's been about cancer prevention and living smart, the Rjolad Guide. My guest has been Dr. Phillip Bamigboye from Rjolad Hospital. Thank you so much once more for coming on board. Lagos, we've got a very short break. We'll return. We'll do our birthdays in brief, and then we shall be delving into the second part of the show, connecting with the statisticians. They're very much around the corner. They'll be joining us in a bit. Stay here, Lagos.